You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for Coonhounds, Beagles, Retrievers, Pointers, Cur-Feist, and more for over 125 years.
Welcome back, everyone, to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. This is Trevor Wade. I'm the Coonhound Program Manager at UKC, and I'm joined today by Alan Gingrich, the Director of Hunting Ops. What's going on, Alan?
Well, I'm doing very well today. I'm kind of excited for this discussion. We're going to talk about Pro Slams today, but yeah, ready for it.
Yeah, we've been talking about this program for a very long time, a couple of years now, probably between me and you, I guess.
Longer than folks would think.
Yeah. And we've went through a lot of names. We've went through a lot of different formats and payouts and all kinds of stuff. And I think we finally got it fine-tuned to where we want to. We got a few events scheduled, and we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah, and what's even more exciting is we've got a couple that are now full. We've got two already scheduled where the reservation's open, and one filled in a matter of minutes, and the other one was a matter of a couple days. So that's even more exciting.
Yeah. At this point, you guys probably seen the event ads out floating around. You've seen people talking about it, us on our social media platforms. If you paid attention to the Coonhound World Championship live show on Saturday, you and I and Jamie Estep actually did a little 20-minute segment where we talked about some very basic specifics. We had some time constraints there, but yeah, we're going to go a lot more in depth today and just give a lot of the basic information anybody would need about this.
Yeah, we already have some questions, that have come up. So I think this is going to be an opportunity for us to talk about some of those things.
Yeah. And with way less flies. I don't know if anybody watched the live show, but we were battling the flies all weekend there. But
you're talking about the World Championship there in that building. I don't know what was in there that, I don't know. Steve Burkholder or somebody really pulled them in there.
About suffocated Jamie with that fly spray.
Maybe it was him.
He was always around when the flies were around.
Yeah.
No, just kidding, Jamie. No, but hey, let's just start out by defining what the Pro Slams are. And if you go to our website, ukcdogs.com /Pro Slam, Pro Slams, you can find, Pro Slam, sorry, no S, Pro Slam. You can find all the information about it. And what I like about it is even though they're different programs, we had this for Coonhounds, Hunting Beagle, Beagle Gun Dog, and the Cur-Feist programs. It all lives on that same Pro Slam page. They're just kind of divvied up in different sections by program.
Yeah, they're not all the same, but it was good for us to be able to implement them, set something up for each one of our segments that's going to work. But they are not all exactly the same, and that's why it's important for folks to, if you're interested in one. In other words, if you're running in the Beagle one or interested in the Beagle ones, don't go by what the Coonhound one is. A lot of them are very similar, but not everything is the same.
Yeah, and that's going to be a web page. You might as well just bookmark it on your phone or your computer. We have our schedules there. That's where our event ads will live. Our rules are there, and most importantly, that's where reservations are going to be at.
Reservations, and you don't see a spot for reservations to open until the day that the reservations actually open. Then there'll be a button there.
Yep.
And after that, once they're full, it'll have a note comes up and says it's full right soon after that. And then a day or so after that, we will also have a list of names of those that have reservations. Yep. Right now, you can see some of those.
Yeah,
a Coonhound one and a Beagle one, both.
They're on there right now.
Probably jumping ahead of the game here, but
well, that's fine. Good for them to know. They can go check out that page right now. So, well, let's talk about the purpose of it. Like I was saying, on every rule sheet, you're going to find a purpose of it on there, and that purpose reads to give the experienced enthusiast a platform to compete on an elite level that promotes professionalism, attracts attention to some of the best hounds in the sport, and award a significant monetary payout to its winners. To kind of give you the short version of that, I think what we both have talked about for a long time is that UKC wants to have a platform or a level for everyone in the sport. And I think we've accomplished that.
Yeah, whether you're coming in, you're intermediate, experienced, and this upper elite level, so to speak, that's what this is, and you're exactly right.
Yeah, and we have that. At the local event level, we have youth education program events. There's still poor boy events out there with small entry fee. And even a lot of the local level events, that's a great place for beginners to go and get their feet wet in the sport and to just enjoy competing against one another.
And those events, we are not trying to change the game, so to speak. Those events will still be the majority. They are not going away for us. There's still going to be the majority of events that we have. And there still are, the backbone of the sport or the local club events. there's a lot of majors out there in this day and age, but yeah, those we don't want those to go away. We're not trying to do that, like you said, a level for anybody, whatever that level is that you're at, whether you're starting or you're an experienced hunter.
Yeah, and once you kind of make it through that and you're comfortable there, you can move up to state championships and breed championships,
and not just experience.
deal.
Yeah, not just experience. Somebody might not prefer these type of events. That's all fine and dandy,
Absolutely.
But guess what? We also do have a lot of folks that do prefer this type of thing, and I've seen, there's been a lot of discussion about it, and it's good discussion. I like seeing people talking about these, and there's some that are just not interested, just for one, some of our Feist folks I saw where they've had their discussions on some of this. We have it set up for the Cur-Feist as well. But I think the Feist crowd right now, I don't think they're really interested in it, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. We're not trying to push this on you, and we won't be pushing it on them or anybody that doesn't want it, but it is here for, it's just another platform, another type of event. It's a little different event for those that do want it. That's what it is.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
For people
nothing
who are
more, nothing less.
Interested in competing at the highest level for, kind of high stakes, high reward type of events.
Yeah.
That's what it's geared toward. And these are limited. If you see somebody online say that we're just doing it for the money or what have you, there's going to be, I'm looking at the Coonhound program and probably going to have 10 or 12 of these on the schedule in 2024. I don't know about your Beagle programs, probably something similar. And that's compared to thousands and thousands of regular events that you can enter for $20.
These are just a snippet of where we don't want to go crazy with scheduling these, and have too many of them at all. Yeah. One thing that's kind of cool, maybe I'm kind of segueing away from it here, but so we've had our Autumn Oaks, we've had our World Championship, and now we're kind of the next major events aren't going to happen till next year, the Grand American and the Winter Classic. But we have a couple of these events scheduled, and this goes for hunting beagle, coonhounds, everything. Those World Championships are done as well. We have something to kind of talk about. There's something kind of, talking about these couple of these Pro Slams coming up. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
kind of a good space right here between now and then.
Yeah, gives us something to look forward to. The hunters something to look forward to, or focus our attention on. So.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into some of the specifics, and we'll start out just talking about just some general rules of these Pro Slams that are going to be the same throughout the programs for Coonhounds, Hunting Beagle, and Cur-Feist. I won't mention Beagle Gun Dog in these because they may be a little different. We're going to talk about those later on in the show. But,
okay.
We'll start out here with talking about entry reservations, and these are all going to be advanced entries only. We've already done a couple of them, and they're going to be on our website at the website we talked about, ukcdogs.com/Pro Slam. And these event ads that are out there floating around, they have an entry reservation open date, and it's essentially going to be 1 month ahead of when the event is. So
exactly 1 month, 30 days.
Yep. So we're talking about the 10-mile Coonhound Slam. It's November 18th, and entries open for that on October 18th. So
at 9 a.m.
Exactly a month ahead of time. The host club is going to have the ability to use some of these spots before entries open to the public for hunting guides. So in a 16-dog hunt, there's going to be forecasts essentially for a standard hunting beagle program. And I know you sent the link to your club correspondent there, and he was able to get the 4 guides entered before it opened to the rest of the public. So essentially 12 are open to the public. And when you're reserving a spot,
they don't have to use those. If they don't use them on the day of, if they're still available, they become available to everybody.
Absolutely. They got to enter it up before it becomes open to the public, or else they're free games. And when you're reserving an entry on there, you don't have to put any specific dog information, which I like. You don't have to worry about changing dogs out if one comes in heat or gets injured or what have you. You're just reserving it in your name. I'll just go on, do the entry in my name, and then I'll give them the dog information there at the event when I'm getting ready to hunt.
We have other online forms and templates for like Autumn Oaks, the World Championship, and Winter Classic, different events. This is the most simple, easiest, quickest entry form that we've had, and I like that.
Yeah, very efficient.
Yep, simple and just get all the information we do need, But
yeah, and I think
all there.
What we've come up with on just the best way that it works is just to pay for the entire entry fee ahead of time. There's no deposit or paying the rest of the balance when you get to the event or after the fact. You pay for it all there beforehand, and once you pay for it, it's yours. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a specific dog, so you can still decide which dog you want to, or if you're handling a dog for somebody, but you just reserve it with your name. But it is yours. Once you pay for it, that's your entry, and you have the ability to sell it if something were to come up and you can't go to someone else. It's a really simple process, and we'll
The
have some
dog you
paperwork.
enter does not have to be a dog that is in your name.
Yeah. So, and there'll be a transfer form that you just would sign at the event, because it is going to require some tax information that we're going to need in order to pay. But we'll get to that. Actually, we'll get to that right now when we talk about payouts.
Yeah.
Prize payouts are going to be made with a check after the event's over, after we have the event results from the club. I think in the rules you'll see that it says within 3 weeks. A lot of times it's going to be much quicker than that. The tournament's much quicker.
Yeah. We'd like to have the results in, when we get here is Monday morning, get that all processed. That's a Monday morning process or a project for us, and that part of that is to get the winners' checks requested and sent over to our accounting department. And ideally, that'd be out that week still.
Yep, that's right. And those checks are going to go out to the first owner listed on the dog's record. So keep that in mind. And like it says in the rules, and like it is in the case with the World Championship and the Tournament of Champions and other events we have where we pay out money, we have to have a W-9 tax form on file for that first owner in order to issue the check.
Yeah. And we want to make, we talked about some, there's a lot of talk about this, discussions about this. One of them is about this W-9. Don't want to, have to pay Uncle Sam for it, but we can't get around that. We want everything to be legal. We're going to be legal with it. And if we pay you whatever it is that we pay you, we have to record it. We're a business, as does any business, so we have to. Can't get around that.
And the good thing about the entry process and what we were able to do on the online entry form is that it actually captures all the information that we need from the online form for a W-9. So it acts the same way, and we're able to capture all the information we need where you don't even have to worry about filling out the like a physical form. You do it all there online when you enter, and you take care of that all in one swoop.
Yep. The rules for Coonhounds, I love it.
Yeah, talking about full elimination rules. And at this point, a lot of people are probably familiar with that. We implemented them at the beginning of this year for some of our major events. We've seen them at the TOC finals, Grand 16 at Autumn Oaks. We saw them at the World Finals now just a couple weeks ago, and they're working great. They're well received. Everybody who's out competing in the events just love it.
They do. They are working good, and you can find those in the Coonhound rule book, the new rule book.
Yeah, that's right.
Towards the back.
Every Coonhound Pro Slam is going to be held using the full elimination format. And like Alan said, refer to the rules there in the back of the rule book on the website. You could get a PDF of the rule book and just search full elimination format and get all the information you need. Some of the important things are plus points not required for advancement. And also, if you're ever down to just one dog in a cast, that dog is going to be your winner. Don't have to hunt the full time in that case. You've already determined your winner.
Yeah, there's no more dogs to defeat is the idea there. And it is different than what UKC's been used to, but there's reasons we needed to have these rules there's different reasons, I guess, that we've ran into in the last couple of years, and these kind of take care of those issues like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's worked flawlessly at some of our major events this year when we've used it.
Now, this is, again, here we're talking about full elimination rules. We talk about, we're also going to have some full elimination stuff for Beagles, but some of the full elimination rules for Coonhounds are not exactly the same as they are for Beagles. So I want folks not to get mixed up between the two.
Yeah, that full elimination and everything that we're going to do here for the next little bit is about Coonhounds. We'll let you know when we shift into hunting Beagle, but right now we're talking about Coonhounds.
Yep.
And with that said, let's talk about cast wins on dogs' records and money earned. Any dog that wins its cast at a Pro Slam is going to get a win towards its championship degree, and that's true in the full elimination in any of the rounds.
Yep, every round there. Yep. Just like you would going to a regular hunt at your local club on Friday or Saturday night.
Yep. So
cast win is a cast win towards your dog's degree.
That's right. It counts towards TOC. We get that question a lot.
Yep.
If it counts, it counts. It counts for everything. So. And also, the money's earned is kind of a cool deal for us now. It's something that has came along with this the Pro Slam implementation. And it's right now we have those earnings already on our website. We've been tracking the earnings for the Tournament of Champions and the World Championship since 2019 when we started paying out money there, and that's already live on our website. You can go check it out. And all these Pro Slams, the money won there is going to count towards a dog's earnings, and that list will be updated after every Pro Slam.
Yeah, so I see some of these Pro Slams here with Coonhounds especially. There's several of them that are right up there in the a couple of the winners, like Hobo and and Butch and Conor McGregor and those, just a little bit. It's not going to take much. One of those does a little bit of good here in one of these pro slams. They'll separate themselves as far as those top spots go, But and even others too. You got the 50,000 mark. Then there's the 30 and the 20, and you get down to 10s and a whole bunch of them in the 5,000s, and all that. So yeah, and honestly, some of these pro slams all depends what events you're going to get into. Some of them are pay pretty significant payout.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at some ads here that we're going to talk about in just a second. I see a $14,000 payout for one dog in there, so that can move you up the rankings pretty quick. Yeah, but let's talk about some of the other general hunt information now. Like a slam hunt is for coonhound events, all dogs are going to be drawn out together regardless of their degree. It's not taken into consideration. They all come from the same pool.
Registered champs and grands all draw out together. Doesn't matter.
Hunt time periods are going to be notated on the event ads. They do vary from event to event. I've seen a little bit, but it's going to be right there on the event ad. You're not going to be surprised the night of the event.
Yeah, you're probably not going to see any 1 hour first round events. I doubt it.
So far, mostly 2 hour hunts, unless it's a double header. Then a couple of them are doing 90 minutes. Yeah. So just keep an eye out for that whenever you're entering. There's no surprises. These event ads will be live well before entries open. So. In the first rounds, a lot of times you're going to see hunting judges used. At least you have a vote that way, and then in the final cast, you're going to be using non-hunting judges. That's something that we'll ask of every host club, have non-hunting judges for the final cast. And splitting awards, that's something that both of us feel strongly about. At these events, we want to have an overall winner, and we want them to be able to get the monies that we've advertised, and to have final cast for people to keep track of and everything. And with that, we're not going to be allowing splitting monetary or placement awards. We're going to require a hunt off unless otherwise approved by us if something were to happen, or it's going to be very rare.
Yeah.
No split.
If ever, yeah.
These hunts are going to be used with a hunt director format in the Coonhounds, which when you come back with a question, if you were to come back with a question, it'll go straight to a panel. And we like that.
Yeah. So in other words, you're not going to have a master of hounds that officiates the event. It's going to always be a panel. A master of hounds can sit on the panel, but it will always be a 3-person panel to deal with any questions that come back.
Yeah. One thing I like about it, and we talk about it all the time, questions are a good thing if you have a legitimate question, but when you go straight to a panel, you go straight to having a fee that you have to put. So it kind of cuts out on some of the frivolous questions or grasping for straws at the end of the cast or something like that. And you have to put up a little bit of money. Obviously, if you're correct and the question rules in your favor, you get your money back. So if you have a legitimate question, don't be afraid to do it. But you are going to have to put up the money to have it heard in the first place. Yeah. And ultimately, if you don't agree with the panel's decision, we are making it to where you can appeal that decision to UKC for a $100 fee, and we'll get the resolution for you that night with so much money on the line. So.
And that's the other thing too, as well. If there happens to be an appeal or something like that, it's good that we do the payouts from here after the event, because if it were to change anything, then we can make those changes.
Absolutely. And let's just talk about schedule and limitations a little bit. We kind of led off with this, or I did, that in the Coonhounds expect to have maybe 10 or 12 of these a year, at least starting off. We're still new to this. We're getting our feet wet, taking these entries and getting the checks out and what we want to do with this Pro Slam formatted events. And with that being said, it's going to be pretty rare. It's going to make sure that each of them get the recognition they deserve. They're going to be, we're going to be advertising these events. We hope the host club puts the time in to advertise them and make sure that they have a good quality event for everybody. And I don't know, we want to give each event its own individuality. It's not just a UKC Pro Slam. We've given them all, or the clubs have given them all their own name.
Yeah.
10 Mile 300, the Border Town Battle, the Twin Lakes Classic. It gives them all their own sense of individuality.
Yeah. I think. And these are all that events that have now been scheduled. So that Twin Lakes one, that's in Indiana next year, I guess.
Yeah. And I think having said that, with there only being, with them being so rare, it's gonna winning one of these is gonna be significant, and we're going to be recognizing you out in front of your peers, and it's going to be something to be proud of. So that's our hope for it, and our hope is they're rare enough to where you get that sense of pride by winning one, and also that they feel pretty quickly. And let's get into our formats, and we'll talk about some of them that we have right now. The basic format for the Coonhounds is a 16 dog format. A lot of people are familiar with this. It's essentially going to be a one-night event. You're going to be split up into 4-dog casts, and eventually have a late round where the 4 cast winners will go back out to determine your winner and placements. A good example of it will be our first one that we had scheduled, the 10-mile 300. That's at the 10-Mile Hound Association in 10 Mile, Tennessee. They're putting on a $300 entry fee, 16-dog hunt on November 18th, and it's full already. We opened them up on October 18th at 9 a.m., and it actually filled within 5 minutes.
Less than 5 minutes, actually.
9:04 we looked, and it was already full. So that just kind of speaks that they're kind of rare, and people are wanting to get in, and that's an awesome thing. But that'll be the first one we have. The payout for it on a $300 entry fee, you win 1 cast. The least you're going to get is 4th place is $500.
Yeah.
3rd place $600, 2nd place $800, and the 1st place winner is going to get a nice $2,000 check.
Yeah, so win your cast, you're going to be in the good. You're going to make more than your entry fee back already. That's one thing that's a little bit different than some of the other events. Probably we tried to make sure you have a little cushion there, I guess. So yeah, 500, 600, 800, and 2,000 to win.
Yeah, just to mention another, obviously with the 16-dog format, they don't all have to be 300, and we've kind of seen that so far. We've been talking to some different clubs in every program, I think, and a couple of the ones that I've talked to wanted to have a little bit higher of an entry, and one is one that I was actually able to get scheduled yesterday and get an ad down here for this podcast.
Michigan, not too far away.
Well, this is actually the Twin Lakes Classic.
Oh, the Twin Lakes, yeah.
Yeah, so this, like you mentioned, it's going to be in Monticello, Indiana, at the Prairie Timber Club there, the Cobles. And
Jordan Coble and his dad.
Yeah.
It's a good club.
It's going to be May 25th. That's a good weekend for them there in northern Indiana. And that's going to be a $500 entry fee, 16-dog hunt.
So there's a good one for us to compare between that, the $300 entry fee one and the $500 entry fee one, just the payouts for it. It's pretty significant, really, just for a couple $100 more. It really makes a pretty big difference.
Yeah, absolutely it does. 4th place in the $500 one is going to get $1,000. So
yeah, that's twice as, you double it right
double
there
your
already.
Money with 1 cast win. 3rd place is going to be $1,250.
More than double.
2nd place is going to be $1,750.
And that's also more than double.
And 1st place is going to be $3,000.
Yep.
So that's that's May 25th, and entries for that are going to open April 25th. So keep your eye open for that.
A little ways out, but something for people to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Another format that we've been working on that I'll give you the credit for this one, the 27-dog format with the 3-dog cast.
I like this one, and I'm just going to give Chuck Dunlap a shout out here because several years ago he already called me, and he was pretty adamant about this. He's over in Ohio, and he's talking about this 3-dog thing. He's just like, the first kennel club to come out with the 3-dog cast is going to be a big hit, and I've never forgot that conversation I had with him, and I agree. You and I both know we've hunted long enough. There's just so many things that are so much easier with 3 dogs. You're competing against one less dog, just from every aspect of it. Whether you're judging, you're competing, or guiding. Everything is just easier. But I don't know. It's kind of desirable. Now a 2-dog cast is kind of totally different, but a 3-dog cast. The only negative, the only con, obviously, is with 16 or 27 dogs, it makes a difference in the money that goes in there. But you're also not competing, having to defeat as many dogs. But there's a whole lot of pros with this. And yeah, this Border Town Battle, that's what they have, a 27-dog one that is 3-dog cast all the way through from start to finish.
Yeah, this is one that we wanted one. We wanted to have one before the live show for the World Championship where we could talk about the 27-dog format. You got on the phone with Cheyenne and Jennifer Cummings, and they said, yeah, whatever you need from us, we're in. They have hosted a lot of events for us, and they have a really strong area and a really good foundation for hosting these major events, and it's a very logical place to have our first 27-dog Pro Slam. And let's talk about it a little bit. So this format is kind of going to be a little bit different from what we're used to. It's going to be a two-day event. It's going to start on Friday nights, and the early round on Friday night is going to be 5 3-dog casts. And then in the late round, you're going to have 4 3-dog casts. So those are all going to be round 1 hunts, but just basically split up into 2 different hunts.
15 dogs and 12 dogs.
And you're going to get from those 9 casts, you're going to get your 9 cast winners that move on to Saturday night into our semifinals.
Hey, the other thing I want to point out here, I can get an entry in the early and the late if I want to, handle 2 different dogs if I want to.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I could probably, if I don't win my cast in the first go around, I can turn around and hunt the same dog in the late round if I want to.
Absolutely.
Does not have to be the only. Now, if the dog is a winner, he cannot be put back in.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, and you'll see that in our rules as well. But like we said, if you get a cast win on one of those 9 casts on Friday night, you're going to move on to Saturday night in the semifinals. 3 dog casts early, and you're going to get your final cast late. And let's look at the payout for this one. This one is going to be $1,250 entry for this one. That's in Seneca, Missouri, the Bordertown Battle, as they call it there at the Lost Creek Coonhounds Club. And the payout is pretty dang good here. First off, for the 6 dogs that make it to the semifinals but get beat in the semifinals
right.
and
You're
don't make it.
9. You're going to have 9 dogs total. 3 are going to move on to the final, but 6 are going to be non-winners. Those 6 you're talking about, they're also going to get a nice little check, actually.
Yeah, they're going to get $1,500, so they'll pay for their entry fee and probably for their room and whatever, if they have to get a room or their gas or whatever, get a little extra spending money.
Yep.
So they make their money back.
$350 more is what they got.
Yep, and if you make it into the final cast, third place is going to get $3,000. Second place is going to get $6,200, and the first place winner, $14,000.
That's still pretty doggone good, I'd
on
say.
a $1,250 entry.
Yep.
So not bad at all. Really excited for that hunt. That hunt is going to be December 8th and 9th, so that means entries for that are actually going to open on November 8th. So not very long after you hear this podcast, the entries are going to be opening. So make sure you're on there 9 a.m. sharp to try to get your entry.
Yeah, be good to find the website where it's at, mark that, and so you know where it's at. So at 9 o'clock, why you don't have you're not trying to search around and spending a lot of time looking for it and can't find it or what have you. So, yep.
And just real briefly, let's mention this one here. I was glad to get this one done before we got down here. We've been dealing with Tracy Thompson in Reading, Michigan, the past couple of days, just trying to get our ducks in a row for one we wanted to have up there. And in the summer, we tried to schedule some down south for this winter. In the summer, it makes sense to come up north where, maybe not as humid. Obviously, not as warm as in the south. Don't have to deal with snakes and alligators and everything else. But so for August,
even in the deepest summer, you don't have to worry about snakes and alligators in Michigan.
No alligators.
I can assure you that. Some mosquitoes maybe, but
yeah. So August 16th and 17th, we were able to get one scheduled in Reading, Michigan, and everybody, most people are going to be familiar with that club. They put on a lot of major events for us, zones. They've held a lot of major events across multiple registries. So that's a great club, and we were able to get him to do a 27-dog entry. He was a little hesitant to do the $1,200 entry fee, so we actually did a $750 version of this, which is a little bit more affordable if you're wanting to enter both rounds. But the payout still turns out to be pretty good. So it's the same format as the one we just talked about in Seneca, with the 15 dogs hunting early on Friday and the 12 dogs hunting late on Friday, with the 9 cast winners moving on. In this one, with the $750 entry fee, the 6 non-winners in the semifinals that don't make it to the final cast are going to get $1,000 apiece.
$250 cushion.
Yep. And then if you make it to the final cast, third place is going to get $2,000. Second place is going to get $3,200, and our first place winner on a $750 entry is going to get $7,500.
Pretty good.
Pretty good for a 3-dog cast.
Yep. All 3-dog casts again.
So we're a little ahead of the game on that one. That one's going to be August 16th and 17th, but just trying to give you guys some different ideas of what kind of variations we may see in this.
Yeah, the one thing we didn't talk about, Trevor, that I'd like to touch on if we have just a couple of minutes here to get to do that is, so your basic one is going to be 16 dog. We also have, if they don't fill to 16, the other option is a 12 dog. Let's talk about that 12 dog just briefly if we can.
Worst case scenario, and we're like I said, we're limited in these because we want them to fill easily.
Yeah.
We don't want them to get oversaturated or to have any issues filling them. Worst case scenario in that 16 dog hunt, if it doesn't fill, we will have the hunt with 12 dogs for the first 12 people that enter. And a bulk of the money is going to be coming out of the club's pocket in that instance. We're gonna kind of hold them accountable for trying to fill their hunt.
In other words, the winners aren't going to feel much of a difference in the payout of it.
Absolutely. And just for reference, on a 16 dog, $300 hunt, which we just talked about, 10 miles payouts if they have the full 16, we're still going to, out of the $3,600 that come from the entry fee income on that, $3,050 are going to be paid out to our winners. So we'll have 3 4-dog casts. Third place is going to get $500. Second place is going to get $750, and first place is going to get $1,800 still. So there's actually a little bit of a reason to get entered as soon as you can as entries open. Not only is there a chance that it can sell out in 4 minutes, but if for some reason it's having trouble selling, which I don't envision that happening, you want to be in the first 12 anyways.
Yep, and if you don't have 12 entries, it's just simply going to be canceled.
Alan, we both had Dogtra Pathfinder 2s now for a little while. What do you think about yours?
I'm liking mine. One of the things I had the opportunity to now download a map of an area where I did not have service, and I've used it there, and it has worked flawlessly. I love it.
Yeah, I love the crystal clear maps. I love that I never lose reception on my dog's collars anymore. Highly recommended by me as well. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. We've kind of already talked about the entry reservation part of it, transferring entries if you need to, and payouts. Like I said, that's the same throughout all the different programs, Coonhound, Hunting Beagle, everything. But let's talk about some specifics that are maybe only for Hunting Beagle, just for the
Okay.
Hunting Beagle format now. And we'll start out with cast winners.
Yeah. Cast winners is again very similar to the Coonhound one, but not quite. A total score of plus points is not required to be a cast winner, which is the same rule we have for all of our big five that we in Hunting Beagle. So our folks are already familiar with that. That will also be implemented here. Each cast shall have a winner. That's what we want to have, unless a dog everybody scratches. So in the event only one hound remains in any round, that hound is considered the winner, and the hunt is over regardless of time remaining in the hunt.
And that's pretty consistent for Coonhounds and the
It
Cur-Feist
is.
programs
It
as
is.
well.
Yep. Yep. The only thing that's a little different here, one is championship wins are going to be awarded in the first round only in the Hunting Beagle, on the Hunting Beagle side at this time anyways.
Yeah.
That's what we've come up with. And then again, as far as the monies earned at the UKC Pro Slams, the other one that we're going to include in this is the Clash of Champions. So that Clash of Champions and the monies earned at Pro Slams will go on the dog's record in Hunting Beagle. And we'll maintain a annual list, as well as a historical list for that. So yeah, here in the Beagles, we have the same thing as what we had in Coonhounds. We had on the same day, actually, the Coonhound event and a Beagle event scheduled for the same day, which is November 18th. Now, the Coonhound one we talked about a little bit ago filled in a matter of minutes. The Beagle one, it took a couple days, but by Friday morning, we only were short one entry, and it opened on a Wednesday. Friday morning, we were full. So that's still pretty awesome.
Old Mitch Gold, he'll beat the bushes until he got full, I promise.
He did.
We need more guys like him around for sure.
Yeah, he did a great job promoting this as well. But that's going to be in West Milford, West Virginia on December the 18th. And the payout is exactly as it was, same as what we had for the Coonhound one. Fourth place is going to be $500, $600 for third place, $800 for second place, and then $2,000 for first place there. But yeah, so that's going to be our first one. Those reservations already full. And we talked about there's a list once the reservations are full. In a matter of a day or two, they will have a list of names that you can get right there at the same place where you get reservation. That's up now. So
we had to laugh about it a little bit yesterday. The entry list, it looks so nice. And when I originally sent it to Bailey, I'll give Bailey a shout out. She does a lot of our paperwork and graphics for us, spreadsheets and PDFs and everything that we need from her. And I kind of had a pretty basic list in mind, and then she sends it over, and it's on this nice background and colors. I was like,
that's kind of
cool. This looks way better than I
Yeah.
would have made it for sure. But so shout out Bailey for that. But
yeah, hey, one of the things we talked about time, not we kind of leave that up to the time or for the club. Although we're probably not going to approve any hour hunts in Coonhounds, anyways. Beagles is kind of the same way. Now, Mitch Gould's club, this the Mountaineer 300, it will be a 2-hour test. And that's what they wanted, but I know I hear a few guys are kind of thinking that's a little long, so, but the next one that we have coming up is going to be just a 90-minute hunt, and that's going to be at the Full Circle Bash for Cash is what that one's called. And it's up in Amity, Pennsylvania. Justin Schaefer is a guy that he runs the club up there. He's most folks that hunt in our events are familiar with him. So that one is going to be in December as well. December the 16th is when that hunt's going to happen. That's a 16-dog event, $300 entry fee again, same payout, $500, $600, $800, and $2,000 for the top 4 spots there. But this is just going to be a 90-minute hunt here. So December 18th is the date. So that means November 16th is when that will open up. So.
And I heard you on the phone yesterday. It sounds like you got another one or two at least in the works right now.
Yeah, we have one in the works for next February in Missouri.
Yeah.
So we're working out the details on that. So that's going to be up soon. That one's going to happen for sure. And a couple others that we're working on as well. So just like you in Coonhounds, we're not looking to have a lot of these. We want to kind of make sure we kind of spread them out a little bit and kind of watch where we put them.
Yeah.
So, and hey, I would love to see a 27 dog one here. We'll have one in Ohio too, I think in February, but I'd love to see a 27 dog one here too, but I think we have to start with baby steps. I think some of the guys are a little reluctant to consider a 27 dog one, and I'm with them. Hey, let's take baby steps and make sure we can fill these before we take bigger chunks than we should.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the format of you guys have a little bit more when you start scheduling 27 dog hunts in the hunting beagle. You have a little bit more flexibility than you would on the coonhound side, where the night kind of limits you. When you're at beagle hunts, you got a little more time during the day to try some things.
You do, and sometimes, middle of the day is often not as good. The hunting is generally not as good. It depends on the time of the year and moon phases and all that stuff, but the time of the is usually not as good in the middle of the day as it is in the morning or the evening hours. But still, hey, we have a lot of events where we're running throughout all day long, and sometimes you can have great rabbit chases, any time of the day, but so the one thing that with the 27 dog one that's going to make it a little easier for beagles maybe is they can potentially run 3 rounds in one day.
Yeah.
Just like the 27 dog one here, where an option for the beaglers is going to be, instead of a 15 dog and a 12 dog, an A and a B round, they could actually have an A, B, and C where they do 9, 9, and 9. And that's a format that's up to the club, but they could do that in one day, have 3 of those, and then the next day they're, just run off their early and their late round for the finals.
That would actually give somebody 3 opportunities to try to advance a dog. So
yeah,
we kind of like that. We've talked about that for some coonhounds, but for us, it doesn't work as good because we would have to incorporate a 3rd night in that case.
Well, it is. One thing we want to point out, and I'm sure most are thinking about this, but if we have just like an early and late in coonhounds or whatever, I can get 2 entries. Actually, I can get more than that. I don't want to have more than 1 dog in a cast, so I don't want to get too many entries. But like this 3 ABC that we talked about for beagles, 9, 9, and 9. There's going to be quite a few guys, or a bunch of them, that get more than 1 entry. Yeah. So it's not like you're looking to get 27 unique entries, because a lot of those guys will get more than 1. I'm going to get more than 2 and more than 3.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, we should probably touch on this because it's a little bit different than I think your regular beagle events, and I don't want anybody to get confused. Even if they get a reservation, there's some eligibility requirements for the beagles. The dogs have to be permanently registered before the event, correct? They can't do it day of.
Yeah, they do have to be permanently registered. That is, I'm glad you brought that up. That is a rule, because we do see quite a few, at most any event, you can register your dog on the day of. Bring your copy of your registration papers or something, with another registry. If it's one that's acknowledged, do it at the club. You cannot do that here. The dog has to be registered before the event. And I would suggest, if folks want to go to an event like the one in December, for instance, use it as an example in Pennsylvania, don't wait till the 1st of December to try to get your dog registered. Do it now if that's what you want to do, because the dog has to be registered.
Yep. Yeah, you actually have something in there that says refunds are not awarded to those not meeting measurement requirements either.
Yeah, that's another thing. The dogs, they can max out at 15 inches, and that's it, anything over that. So, if you don't take a dog that's, going to be close, and just pray for, with a whim and a prayer to hope you get it in, because they're going to be measuring dogs. We got to stick with the rules, so 15 and a quarter is 15 and a quarter,
Better have a backup in the truck.
Maybe, yeah.
Same kind of thing as coonhounds. All dogs are going to be drawn out together, regardless of their championship degrees.
Exactly.
Hunt time periods notated in the ads. Going to be using hunting judges in round 1 and non-hunting judges in subsequent rounds.
Yep. Now, some of the clubs are going to monetary. That's up to the club. If the club has it and they want to use non-hunting judges, they can. But we require at least in the final cast.
Yep. And you're not going to be splitting awards here either. They're hunting them off.
Exactly. Yep.
So I think we've kind of covered the hunting beagle stuff. You want to shift gears?
Yeah, it's very similar to coonhound with just a couple things that are different. But again, go to our website, read those rules specifically for each one. Whether it's coonhounds, hunting beagle, beagle gun dog, or Cur-Feist.
UKCdogs.com/Pro Slam.
Yep.
Let's move on to Cur-Feist then.
Cur-Feist, yeah. I mentioned in the onset a little bit, a lot of the Feist guys this isn't really something that most of them are interested in. I see the Curs probably having a few of these, maybe. A 27, they have the option for a 27 dog one, but they have everything 3 dog casts already. That's the norm for them. So for them, we set it up for a 9 dog hunt here. or an 18 dog hunt. And technically they could have a 27 dog hunt. It wouldn't be hard for us to do that. But it's going to be a lot harder for them to get that many entries, you know, so we'll probably see more 9, potentially 18 dog events. So the difference there is in the first round, you know, everything's 3 dog casts. So in a 9 dog hunt, you'd have 3 threes and then the 1 cast. But in 18 dogs, you would have 6 casts, 6 threes, and then you would have 6 winners. And then those in round 2 would actually go heads up, 2 dog casts in round 2, and then have 3 winners out of there for the final cast. But even then, I'm just looking at some numbers here for, let's say you had a $300 entry for a 9 dog hunt. That's a income the payout there would be a total purse of $2,100. So that's still fairly significant. Where first would pay $1,092 or $1,100, second would be $600, and third would be $400. So
good.
It's still pretty good for a 9 dog hunt. Yeah.
Win one,
$1,100, $600, and $400. An 18 dog hunt. The non-winners. They would each get $400, so they're going to make a cushion of $100 each. You know, of those for those. Actually, they're 3 non-winners, I guess. But it would pay $2,850. $2,850. There'll only be a 2 dog final in there. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. I guess we should probably cast winners is exactly the same. Total score plus points is not required. That's something that they're familiar with in that program, maybe already.
Yeah, it is.
Championship wins. Round 1 will count towards the championship degree. Subsequent rounds will not.
That's
so similar to hunting beagles.
It is exactly the same as that. Yeah.
And money. You're also keeping track of money earned for Cur-Feist dogs at these UKC Pro Slams.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything else is very similar. Just a couple little slight differences, and that's it.
Now, I'm guessing eligibility requirements are pretty similar here, as where you get a lot of dogs that walk up and register their dogs on the day of hunts. And
they do, and here again, they need to be registered ahead of time. Only UKC registered dogs. They need to be in the system. It's not something where I want to make it very clear. You can't just send your application off the week before the event and expect to take this dog to it. It's not going to work. Dog has to be registered.
Yep. And if you're hunting a feist in one of these, got to be 18 inches or under. It looks like. So
that's
make
right.
sure you don't have any issues with that, because you will not get a refund if you measure out.
Yep. And so yeah, same thing. So yeah, either a 9 dog or 18 dog format for there. So hey, we'll see. I like I said, I expect, we don't have any schedule at this point, but I do expect to see a couple come up here in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I would look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, so that kind of leaves one other one, and that's our Beagle gun dog format, and that one is very different. And I think for the most part, they're the ones that everything else is going to be at least $300 entry fee or higher. That's not true with the Beagle gun dog one. That format, we have an opportunity with this to have like a unique format with it that's different than what they're used to. And before we go I just want to make it clear that we also will stay. We're still going to have the traditional open events just as we have now. But these are some options for clubs, and they would be limited with limited number of entries, and that limited number is 25 for an entry. And in a class. The other thing that is different is that the height classes in the open events, regular traditional open events, they have 4 classes: the big males, little males, big females, little females. This would just be separated by sex only. And there are some options for specialty events where they wouldn't even separate that, where they would all compete together. But so your 25 dog entry, they would get that's one thing that would be different for them too. Instead of going to the trial and entering your dog there, you would get your entry online at UKC. We send the club a list of their 25 entries in each class that they have, and that's what and here again, you just enter whatever dog you want to enter, and the dog does have to be UKC registered as well. But whatever fits in that slot. Here's one reason that it doesn't really work as well either for something like this to have classes by height, is if you have a dog that's very borderline between big and little, that's going to be tough for me to decide what class to put this dog in, so there's some different things. We're trying to simplify it a little bit, and it's also different. So the other thing that I like about this, I think that will be unique and good, that I think once they start having them, that it's going to take them having them and kind of feeling it out a little bit. But I think there's going to be some things that they're going to like about this. For one, you know exactly what you're going to have, the number you're going to have. You're going to know about how long that takes in the day to run that. And I think with you shouldn't have to ever rush classes. You know, these dogs should get a good look in a format like this. You know exactly what that number is, and 5 dogs in a pack. There's not going to be brace or SPO. It's just strictly 5 dogs in a pack, and then a winner's pack at the end. You know, so a $300, without going into great detail, I think if you look on our website, look at the rules for it, it's pretty self-explanatory, really.
Absolutely.
It's pretty simple. But the payout, you know, so let's say you have just a regular $25 or a $25 entry fee for a class. That would give a purse of $310. So that's not that significant. But instead of giving awards or dog bowls and leashes and all that kind of stuff, they're getting a payout. So first would get $100, second 70, third 60, fourth 50, and fifth is going to get $30. You know, so be in that winner's pack or be one of the top 5. And here again, they're going to get their wins, championship points, and wins exactly the same way as they do in an open event. So, and then if you bump up the entry fee, you know, we're talking about a $25 one there, a $30 entry fee one. The purse would be $435, $145 for first place, which that's significantly different for just for a $5 increase in fee. $90 for second place, $80 for third, $70 for fourth, and $50 for fifth. And then we're looking at a chart here.
Yeah.
You know, if you bump it up to $40 or $50 here, you know, one of the conversations I had with somebody was, would you rather have a 40 dog, a 20 dog hunt, or a $25 dog hunt for $40 entry fee, or a 40 dog hunt for $20 entry fee? And it depends on who you ask, you know, but a lot of them said they'd rather pay $40 for a 20 dog entry fee, you know, and get, but a $40 one, you know, that bumps it way up to, to $200 for first place. $50 entry fee is $325 for first place. But, and, you know, the other one, we're probably not going to see a whole lot of those in this unless they're very special events. But if you really want to have a high entry fee event, something really special, you know, you get up to, if you have $100 or $200 entry fee, $200 entry fee would pay about $2,000 for the first place winner. So it could be pretty significant, but really this isn't so much about bigger payouts for this, at least at this point, than it is just something more unique and a limited number of events in a different way of them entering their dogs in trials and competing. Now, the other thing that I do want to hit on here with the gun dog that I do like is some of the specialties that we offer for them. And specialties I mean by where they could schedule, like for instance, just a regular open pro slam would be, I can enter a male or a female in whatever, you know, in those classes. You're going to have 2 classes that day, and just an open event is going to be males and females. Can't be over 15 inches. So I put whatever I have in there. You know, instead of maybe bringing my trailer load of dogs, I kind of pick and choose a little bit where I put my dogs in, whether it's going to fit in this trial or in this slam here, or this one or that one, I guess, so to speak. But another one is what we call a maiden match. Maidens, like in, I don't know, honestly, we just get that from horse racing, is they have maidens, you know, where those are horses that haven't won yet. So in this case, a club could do a specialty of a maiden or whatever, and that would mean I can put a dog in that hasn't, you know, it has to be a dog that it doesn't have any wins yet, and things like that. Another one are derbies, you know, so a club could technically schedule an open pro slam on one day, and on the next day they could have a derby pro slam, you know, or they might even, if they have enough, if they can run it, they might even schedule 2 different pro slams on the same day.
I like that. Yeah,
so they have a lot of options here. Yeah. And I think it's going to take a little bit of having several events here to kind of catch on a little bit, but I'm hoping it will. Yeah. It's different. It's different and kind of unique.
Yeah, sometimes totally different is good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Looks like it's some kind of exciting stuff there for that program for sure.
Yeah, so totally different, but yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, we've kind of gone over our 4 programs there. I guess like we've mentioned already a few times, ukcdogs.com/Pro Slam. While you were talking there, I actually pulled up the rules. That way I could kind of follow along with some of the different slams you're looking at. It took me 5 seconds to do it, so it's very easy to navigate to. Before you ever enter, familiarize yourself with the rules. Kind of get acquainted with it. We've got a ton of calls and messages and emails about these Pro Slam events, and there's a lot of excitement out there, and we're excited. We're excited for these to start bumping off. We were excited when entries opened that first day on October 18th. We're excited to get those events underway and get a full schedule out for everybody, and it's just a fun program. It's a fun time right now.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add here, that you see quite a bit, or you see quite a bit, you see and hear sometimes is folks have this mentality that if you have money as payout, it's going to create problems. It just doesn't. That's such a myth, and I think folks will figure that out as, I don't know, it's just different. I would have used to have that same mindset at one time. And it's not because we're trying to push this at all. Facts are facts. Oftentimes I think, and that is another thing I think we want to promote with this. These are pro slams. We also want to conduct ourselves appropriately. If they're, like anything else, it doesn't matter if you're playing baseball, or if you're playing football, or in this case, hunting dogs. Competitions, there's officials, there's judges, this and that. We don't always agree with them, but there's a process for appealing those decisions if we don't agree with it, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. Sitting there and stomping and throwing our hats and things like that isn't the right way to do it. I can tell you that.
A good way not to be able to enter any more of them.
Exactly right. And we'll be pretty strict on that. We expect you to conduct yourself appropriately.
Pro slams, we expect you to be professional at these events.
Yep.
Sure. Well, that's a lot of information there for everybody. Hopefully you guys give this a good listen. Be sure to go to the website and check out more information on it, and stay tuned as we continue to dive into the UKC Pro Slams. Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.